don't actually talk about my story and how I got here too often out on the internet. And I was at a coffee date the other day and went back to my old life, really put myself back to what it felt like living my old life. And I started crying because it was so painful to be back there. I'm Lila. This is the Living Wellness Lounge. I'm a chief technology officer turned hippie. I don't know what I am. I spent my first career getting business degrees and climbing the corporate ladder and charging after more money and more positions of power and responsibility. And I found myself extremely miserable. I found myself dead inside, a shell of a person. I was anxious, I was depressed, I did not love myself, I did not feel love for many things in this world. It was actually a sad running joke that I didn't feel love, and it was so true. And I know that there are so many people out there that are feeling like I felt in that job. And here's the crazy thing is, although I felt so bad, there was perks. There were things that fed my ego and kept me there. Money, power, recognition, job titles, all these things that superficially made me feel important, which made me or some piece of me, my ego, feel needed, feel like it was the right thing in the right place for me to do, and all these people were relying on me and I needed to suffer for the cause. And let me tell you, it was miserable. It was bloody miserable. I had so much stress and pressure on my nervous system 24/7. It was unbearable. And now I live a life that my baseline is joy. My baseline is happiness. My baseline is ease and excitement. And I don't dread my work days. I don't dread looking at my phone. I don't dread checking my email because I am not living in this state anymore. But for the people that are still living in this state, the people that feel this deadness inside, like maybe they don't want to exactly kill themselves, but they don't want to go on living the way they're living because it is so goddamn painful. I feel you, I see you, and I promise you that it does not have to be this way. I remember a pivotal moment for myself. I was working my job and I was uncomfortable. I knew it wasn't for me. I knew it wasn't my end game. I knew there was something else I was supposed to be doing, but I didn't know what that was or what that looked like or how to take the leap. And I just kind of felt like I was stuck and in limbo and kept thinking, okay, this is where I need to be. I need to be making more money. I need to be continuing for higher job titles. My company was trying to go public. I had all these people on my team relying on me being this person. And I felt so stuck in it because I was identifying with it really, really hard. I was getting myself worth from it. And I remember this guy I was with at the time looked at me one morning. It was one Monday morning where the work week started again and I had to go to meetings and do the things and be this person that I truly wasn't deep down inside. And he looked at me and he said, "You're like barely living over there. Like it just like you look like you're just like on the verge of not being alive." And it wasn't anything with my physical appearance. Like I looked plenty healthy and whatnot, but like it was something in my essence and my aura or my energy or that what I was putting off. Like my vibration was so low. And I heard that and I just like something in me broke. And he was right. I was not living. I was surviving. I was barely surviving. And I believe that if I would have stayed on that path and I wouldn't have uprooted my life and made all these changes, that I probably wouldn't be dead, but I wouldn't be living, okay? I would not be in a good place. I would be not well. I would be unwell. And one day, recently after I'd gotten promoted to the position that I'd been gunning after, and I'd gotten the biggest raise I've ever seen in my entire life, and I was making a lot of money, more money than I ever anticipated to be making, I realized I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I had nothing in the tank for this job. it was costing me so much. And I wrote an email and I said, I can't do this. I can't do it. And I had a really emotional conversation on the phone with the owner and a couple people from the board. And they're like, you have to do it. Like, we need you. Like, you can't unplug. Like, we will figure out something, but we need you. And, you know, I was just like in this stuck place. And I really wanted so badly to just shove off and be done with it. And I ended up taking a year to undo myself from that job. And it was one of the hardest things I ever did. It took a lot of ego death to step down and hire and train my replacement and to say, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I have nothing left in me to give to this. I had a lot of friends on the team that I absolutely loved and adored. And I was just going through so much in my own selfness that I felt like I was letting them all down, but like I had nothing left to give. Like, this was my joy and happiness in life on the line. It was, what kind of life am I going to live? And is it worth living? That it sounds dramatic, but that's exactly where I was. And so I left and I gave myself permission to find and explore what felt good to me. And I wanted to address my own health issues and figure out what I could do to support myself, because I knew at this point in my journey that what we eat matters, what we take matters, that there's herbs and supplements and things to make us feel good. I just didn't even understand the depths of it yet. So I put myself back to school and I started studying nutrition and herbalism and Ayurveda, and my heart absolutely bursts open with love and things I've never felt in my entire life. And I knew I was home. I knew I was where I needed to be. And it was the most scary, challenging thing I've ever done, but it's also the easiest, most obvious thing I've ever done. And there's been lots of times of uncertainty and what did I leave behind? And you know, you leave a job like that pays really well, your parents and your friends look at you funny. You leave a relationship of 10 years that is secure and safe and all the things, and people look at you funny. And you have to go against the grain so hard and fight to find the life that feels good to you. And then it's still not easy. It's still going to be challenging. You're still going to have to grow and change and evolve and figure it out, but it's not suffering. And since I've made that transition, there has not been a day of suffering. Doesn't mean it hasn't been hard, but by golly, it has not been suffering. And there's so much more life and joy in my days and in my being and what I'm doing, because my heart is in it. I believe in it, and I am working towards a purpose that is bigger than myself. How much ego had to die for me to be here and say that? Like, I am working for something bigger than myself is a lot. And it took psychedelics and self-help books and herbs and finding mentors and seeing other people who have walked this path and taken this journey, and just really this deep trust and knowing in myself that I'm okay no matter what happens, it's okay, has been pivotal. And now I wake up and I love myself, and I love getting to go meditate and look forward to spending 20 hours a weekend in a lecture of something that just makes my freaking heart sing. And I want you to know, if you are stuck and struggling in a job or something that doesn't serve you, that it does not have to be the way. And I also want you to know that maybe you are feeling stuck, like you're in survival mode, and your path might not involve a giant job transition or relationship transition. It might involve just tuning in and changing other things, or nourishing your body, or learning to love yourself. But the key is to start tuning in, to start getting aware, to start seeking help and support, to give your body help and support. I burned out so hard in that career from not sleeping and being under constant stress for probably 6 years, that I had to literally just take time to heal, to nourish my body, to give it back what I took from it, what I borrowed, the debt I had racked up. And a lot of people have racked up a debt that needs to start getting paid off. And it's totally doable. We can pay off that debt, I promise. So if you, again, are finding yourself just in a place of, it's not feeling good, it's hard, it's ucky, it's suffering, you kind of don't want to be alive, I, again, wanted to say that I see you, I've been there, and I know that there is a path forward, a life that you can live that's full of light and love and ease. It's not going to be easy, but it's not going to be suffering. So, I'm Lila, now a clinical herbalist and functional nutrition specialist who helps people with their health so they can feel good in their bodies and go do their good out in the world, because that was my journey and that's what got me here. And now I want that for everybody. My heart aches and breaks at what I see and I experience, what I hear from clients and people out there in the world. So I teach people how to care for themselves, how to get their health back on track so they can start interacting with the world in a way that feels so good that they will never go back and let themselves get to rock bottom. I invite you to subscribe. I invite you to comment down below and tell me where you're at in your journey, and on a scale of suffering to thriving, where you're landing. And you can reach out with any questions, visit my website to learn more about what I do, and just take care of yourself. Have a really swell day if you've made it this far.